So I started doing graph theory back in around 2018 as part of a startup now failed that I was working on. But as part of graph theory, when you look at it, is that you have nodes and hubs, and you find this in networks, whether it be across everything. Your brain works this way, social networks, train networks, road networks, oil pipeline networks, they all work in a hub and we find hub and spoke uh, systems are the dominant system that we find in the world. What this also means is that this is why you have 7 degrees, 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. It's because you have those superconnectors that automatically connect to different nodes. You're not going to have a flight from Yakima to Munich, but there is a flight between Seattle and Frankfurt, which means Munich and Yakima are no less than two nodes separate from each other. So, thinking about this in terms of the war in Ukraine and the fact that Russia makes money from oil, which it then uses to destroy Ukrainian homes, I then thought, well, we can look at this in terms of graph theory. Here's a map of RussiaOilPowerMap.com, which has oil refineries and oil pipelines and also gas. But let's stick with oil to start. And what we find here is that Russia's oil network is really quite limited. If you look at this in full, there are only two pipelines in total that connect eastern and western Russia together. If you destroyed both of those pipelines, it would be impossible for Russia to pump oil through pipelines between Siberia and European Russia. You also find here that Russia's pipelines into Europe really fall into only a couple nodes. So there's this small section right just due west of Yaroslav, and if you were to destroy this pipeline here, that would pretty much eliminate all pipeline flows to St. Petersburg and this part of the country. You then need one more blow up here around Tombaskaya Oblast, and this is uh, Lupetsk, I think. If you were to destroy this one here, two blow ups, you have just eliminated the ability of Russia to pump oil into Europe via pipelines, which is exactly what graph theory predicts. Likewise, if you were to blow up Russian pipelines, one pipeline here at this intersection near Almet, Almetyevsk, you here, and one more blow up here. Here, you have eliminated another place to eliminate the flow of oil between Siberia and Europe. The point with this map is that graph theory and network analysis shows us that the Russian economy is dependent on only a handful of connectors that connects the entire economy. If we throw in railway lines, things don't get much better. Things don't get much better for Russia if we look at railways, because Russia again only has a couple railway lines that lead into east and west. Like once you get to Omsk, all transportation by rail, but all domestic transportation through Siberia goes through this one railway, but just due west of Omsk. If you were to destroy the railway intersection in Omsk, there's no way around it without going to Kazakhstan. And you find this all throughout the system. And this is what Ukraine is doing right now with their targeted blowing up of Russian oil refineries, natural gas refineries, pipelines. And honestly, if Ukraine does it right, they should be able to shut down they're going to shut down the Russian economy completely. And that's what Ukraine is doing. And this is why I believe it is impossible for Russia to win the war. The other reason I believe it is impossible for Russia to win the war is Ukraine is backed by pretty much every democracy in the world to some extent. Russia has support from Iran, North Korea, and China, and that's it. That's it. They have no more support. So from that, I think the war in Ukraine is going to end this winter, um, because Russia's going to run out of oil and power. They're going to run. You can destroy. There are only a handful of Russian railway lines that lead to Ukraine. One, two, like that's what, two, three, four, five. There are only five crossings of rail lines between Russia and Ukraine. And then you blow up the roads and you blow up the power stations, and that's what Ukraine is doing. And this is why the war is going to end this winter, I believe. I might be wrong, but I don't think I am. So, Slava Ukraine.